Welcome to the Newstrength Way, a podcast made for empowering people to become their strongest selves through movement, education, and connection.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Newstrength Way podcast, and today we're going to be a very special episode. This will be our last one for the opening year of the Newstrength Way podcast, and wanted to talk a little bit about current situations for us right now, more particularly Nath, and what's going to be moving forward with the podcast come 2019. So I guess, first of all, Nath, do you want to tell everyone a little bit of an insight on what your world's been like in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, definitely. So we welcomed little Macey Grace into the world not too long ago. She's about 2 weeks old now, just over. So the last 2 weeks, been a little bit flipped upside down in the most cool way possible though. And I back into work this week, so just trying to get used to just trying to juggle all those things together, and small little training bouts too. So I trained twice this week, and that'll be it for this week. Both sessions about half an hour, 25 minutes kind of thing.
Yeah, cool. And let's cover that for a little bit. I feel like it's a pretty common thing, particularly this time of year, coming into Christmas. Everyone tends to get thrown a curveball in some way or another that can tend to flip upside down their training or their dieting or whatever it might be. Like for me, it was purely that you've been away off work looking after the little one, and I had to try to fit it in around balancing a little bit of the extra work. And but like for some people like yourself, it's a little bit more 24/7, I guess, like not getting to shut that off. So run me through like the process of like how you decided to then shape your training and moving forward, so you didn't feel like you were letting yourself down and not getting in as much as you normally would.
Yeah, it's I think it comes back just to like prioritizing everything again and seeing what place everything has in your life at that point. I think that's the first step. So where does training sit for me? And I knew like when I train I'm just better all around, like better headspace, feel better. And I know that person coming into work or at home with Sarah and Macey will be better, but I know I couldn't spend the same amount of time doing that because there's more requirements of me at home, obviously.
Yeah.
And in work and everything else. So, and I can't spread myself too thin because then I end up doing nothing well. Trying to do everything and nothing gets done well. So just reassessing where I was at, like what should my training be able to give me now, or what do I want from it? And for me, it was a little bit of like doing something for myself, which I'm sure you'll know how that feels soon enough, Jacob. And then also just trying to feel like I'm still moving forward with my training. Like I've been doing it for a long time now. I think it's like about 7 years now for me, and I haven't really had any breaks in that time. So after the 2 weeks off, I was kind of itching to get back into it, but again, like I said, finding what place it needs to be. And for me, I still wanted to try and work on my squat, so I had a look at some programs, and one of them was just squatting twice a week with not much volume and really high intensity. And then I just do that, and that takes hardly any time at all, and really it takes me about 10 minutes. And then I do like a 5-10 minute M-RAP of 3 exercises that I feel like doing. And for me, that's very low workload. Like it's not much training at all, except it's going to serve its purpose. And I think it'll be that minimal effective dose to allow me to still feel like I'm doing something and show up to home better, show up to work better, and still progress forward. Maybe not at the rate that I would if I was training 6 times a week, but that's where it falls in the priority list now, and it falls still in there because I need to take care of myself. I think that's still up there in priorities, except training is like you can take care of yourself in many ways, and obviously physical health and mental health is a big one. And for me, training and surfing and fishing are those 3 things. So I've just kind of found how much I want to do with each of them and made it work.
Yeah, so I guess like what I'm getting out of that is like not breaking the habit completely, but just knowing how much of that you need to keep there, so definitely, that you get an effective dose and moving forward. So
I think it's too common that people think they have to stop doing something due to X, Y, or Z, but really it just needs to be, you don't have to break the habit, you just need to bend it, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be what it was. Like for me, if I was like, if I had in my head training has to be 5 to 6 times a week, 100% all out, or it's not worth it, of course I wouldn't train anymore when Macey was here, because I can't do that, so I just kind of throw in the towel. But it's like, what actually are you trying to get out of it? Like I'm not going to be an Olympic athlete or anything. I don't need to have my training schedule that I guess that full on. So for me, it was as simple as I want to get stronger. I still want to be able to squat, and I want to do a little bit of accessory work, and how can I do that? And that was it.
And I guess that's another simplistic thing as well with it is like being able to scale things rather than basically all or nothing. Like nobody really needs to train 6 days a week, like unless you have those really high level athletic goals or whatever it might be. So and it can serve the purpose of having periods of time where you are training twice a week and getting yourself back into it. So for a lot of people at this time of year, like if you are feeling like it's a little bit crazy, like it's not going to hurt you to only get in the gym twice a week for a couple of weeks. Like your joints are probably going to start to feel a little bit better because they're going to get more time to recover that they wouldn't get normally. Overall, it'll probably refresh yourself, and I guess for me, it constantly, like any time that I go through that, I end up hungry to come back in, ready to go again.
Yeah, definitely.
So that mental refresh is a big thing.
Yeah, definitely a psychological component, just feeling fresh and ready to go. And I think at this time of year too, cumulative stress through the year, whether people recognise it or not, it's very high. So people are kind of, for lack of a better term, dragging their tail around. But that accepting like it just can be what it has to be, not what you think it needs to be, will allow you to have one, more flexibility, except two, have a bit more enjoyment out of it too. Like towards this end of the year, depending on the person, except most people, you don't have to have a super high expectation of yourself. It's like like you said, if you turn up 2 days a week to train, then that's a win in the circumstances given, then it's a win. Like it doesn't have to be anything too crazy. And going back to the situation with me now, like twice a week's fine. Like I'm gonna move around a bit more than that. Like obviously going for walks with Macey and Sarah and doing things like that, except it's just about planning, so I won't do any conditioning in here because I know I'll do that stuff. Like it's just prioritising where your effort goes. Yeah,
and moving forward, like I know, knowing you, that you wouldn't be jumping straight from 2 days a week back into like 6 days a week either, right?
I go 2, then 3. And then
that's another thing that I think a lot of people feel like they need to jump straight back to that as well. Like I think it kind of, in a lot of cases, can be best served if you progressively bring your way back up, and then that way you can figure out where that balance point is now that you've got Macey as well, and you want to have that time shared with what free time that you do have there. So I think that's an important thing for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think just accumulating it again and seeing what works, because you might find that 3 days a week might give you what you want anyway. Yeah. So it opens up more space in your life for other things. Is it not on anymore?
Nope, still going.
Yeah, sweet.
Battery's just really good.
Yeah, so I think you just need to kind of, whatever your expectations are, kind of take them off and just see things for what they are at that point in time, and obviously still have your goals and want to be better, except think about more so a minimal effective dose in busy times or hectic times, or for me, just new times. Like everything's very new and I just need to see where it fits and go from there. But the less expectation you have on it, the better. Like if I expected myself, I'm like, no, I'm going to do everything and juggle everything, and I'll still like same workload, try and stay at the same time with Sarah and still try and get quality time with Macey. I'll just not sleep as much or something and train still the same. It would end up spreading myself pretty thin, and something I've learned in the past, if you get to the point where you're spreading yourself like so thin, you don't really show up anywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Like everything's getting about 20% of your intensity and attention, which doesn't really do anything. So you're better off doing what you do, I guess, well, even though it's maybe not the same quantity. Focusing on a bit of quality work there instead.
Definitely. So wrapping up, Nath, let's talk a little bit about what's to come in the Newstrength podcast in 2019.
Yeah, so next year is going to be awesome. We're going to take a little bit of a different approach to where we feel as though the industry is. There's a lot of content out there, obviously, and a lot of informative stuff, and we're still going to do that through our Facebook. But with our podcast, we're going to be trying to get more of a real life feel on people in situations and how they fit fitness into their life and where it fits, to be able to, I guess, meet people on the level they're at. I think it's pretty easy for us to be like, obviously, gym owners and fitness influencers, if you want to say that, to be able to put content out there, except the context sometimes isn't there for people. And I think
like a pretty common one is like people working night shift or whatever, and there's always a doctor or a trainer or whatever going, oh, you shouldn't eat this and you shouldn't do that and you should do it this way, but none of those people are ever actually working night shift themselves. So we'd love to get people that are doing this successfully, find out more about their story, how they went about that, the challenges they faced, what they've implemented in their lives to be successful there, and we'd love to get the input of people that are listeners. Like, tell us about the story of somebody who you know that's doing these things well, like what their situation might be. Maybe it's juggling 8 kids and still training.
Yeah.
Like new parents, like, and how they balance it out, whatever it might be. We just want to make it so that for all of our listeners and the people watching on YouTube, that they have access to not only some of the like best information, but also the real world stories and the application from people that have done it before and been in the situation where they are right now. So if you've got a situation that you're struggling to deal with or struggling to figure out how to do that, we'll find somebody who's done that before and can help you in that path of knowing exactly where you are. Like, I know that's one of the things that, like, when I've recently just hired a new coach for myself, and the coach that I hired is, when for me competing in strongman, is one of the best strongman guys in Australia. So I've hired a guy that's been there before. He's still in the game and he knows what he's doing to help me, guide me there to get up to that level. And that's a very helpful thing. It's having that experience. It's actually dialed to exactly what I want to do. So we want to be able to share that experience with a lot more people and get these stories out to the people that need to hear them. So that's what's to come. Hopefully we're trying to move towards a weekly schedule as well, so you get more of this content out, and that's exciting.
Very exciting.
We're not going to commit to 52 just yet, but maybe. We'll see how we go. But that'll do us on this episode, guys. Thanks for that. Enjoy your Christmas and New Year's, and we will see you in 2019.
Will.